The hospital waiting room was unusually quiet that evening. Daniel Carter sat alone on a hard plastic chair, staring at the floor while nervously twisting a folded medical report in his hands. His 6-year-old daughter Lily was inside the examination room, waiting for test results that could change both of their lives forever. He had faced many challenges as a single father, but nothing had ever made him feel this helpless. Then suddenly, a woman in an elegant black coat rushed into the waiting area, her high heels echoing across the polished floor. She looked out of place in a hospital filled with worried families. Daniel barely noticed her at first, until she sat down beside him and whispered something that made his heart stop. "Please," she said urgently, her voice trembling. "Pretend you're my husband." Daniel turned in shock. Because the woman sitting next to him wasn't just anyone. She was Sophia Bennett, the powerful CEO of the very company where he worked, a woman known for being confident, brilliant, and completely untouchable. And whatever trouble she was running from was about to pull Daniel into a story neither of them ever expected. Daniel Carter's life had never been easy. 5 years earlier, his wife had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise their daughter Lily. From that moment on, everything Daniel did had one purpose: protect Lily. She was bright, curious, and always smiling, the kind of child who could make strangers laugh with her endless questions. But a few weeks ago, something had changed. Lily had started feeling weak. She complained about dizziness and strange headaches. At first Daniel thought it was just exhaustion from school activities. But when she fainted during a school play rehearsal, everything suddenly became serious. Doctors ran tests. Blood work. Scans. More tests. Now Daniel sat in the hospital waiting for the final results. The quiet was unbearable. His mind filled with every possible fear a parent could imagine. What if the diagnosis was something terrible? What if he couldn't protect her this time? That was when the doors of the waiting room opened suddenly. Sophia Bennett walked in quickly, looking tense. Daniel recognized her instantly. She was famous inside the company, the youngest CEO Brightcore Industries had ever had. Confident. Powerful. And usually surrounded by assistants, executives, and security. But tonight she looked different. Almost frightened. She sat beside Daniel without noticing who he was. Moments later, 2 men in expensive suits entered the hospital lobby, speaking loudly as they searched the room. Sophia leaned closer to Daniel. "Please," she whispered urgently. "Pretend you're my husband." Daniel blinked in confusion. "What?" "They're investors from my company," she said quietly. "They won't stop pressuring me about a merger I'm trying to delay." Daniel glanced at the men. They were scanning the waiting area carefully. Sophia took Daniel's hand suddenly. The unexpected contact shocked him. "Just for a minute," she whispered. The men looked over and saw the two of them sitting close together. Daniel awkwardly wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Sophia rested her head slightly against him. The investors frowned and turned away, clearly deciding not to interrupt a personal moment. After a few minutes, they left the hospital. Sophia finally exhaled in relief. "Thank you," she said softly. Daniel nodded. "No problem." She looked at him more carefully now. "You work at Brightcore, don't you?" Daniel nodded again. "Yes." "Logistics department." Sophia smiled faintly. "I thought I recognized you." Before Daniel could respond, a nurse appeared at the doorway. "Mr. Carter?" Daniel stood immediately, heart racing. "The doctor is ready to discuss your daughter's results." Sophia saw the fear in his eyes. "Is everything okay?" she asked gently. Daniel shook his head slightly. "I don't know yet." For the first time since she arrived, Sophia's confident expression softened. "Do you want someone to go with you?" Daniel hesitated. He had faced everything alone since his wife passed away. But suddenly, the idea of not walking into that room alone felt comforting. Sophia stood up quietly. "Let's go." Inside the doctor's office, Daniel sat stiffly as the doctor explained the results. Lily had a rare but treatable neurological condition. The good news was that it had been caught early. The bad news was that the treatment would be long, expensive, and emotionally exhausting. Daniel felt both relief and fear at the same time. At least Lily would recover. But the road ahead looked overwhelming. Sophia listened quietly beside him. When the doctor finished explaining the treatment plan, Daniel thanked him and stepped outside. The hospital hallway felt strangely quiet. Sophia looked at him gently. "You've been handling all of this alone." Daniel nodded. "It's just been me and Lily for a while." Sophia stared at him thoughtfully. She had spent years surrounded by powerful people, investors, and corporate leaders. But this man, exhausted, worried, and still standing strong for his daughter, impressed her more than anyone she had ever met. Over the next few weeks, Sophia checked on Daniel occasionally. At first it was just simple messages asking how Lily was doing. Then she began visiting the hospital during treatment days. Lily adored her immediately. "Are you my dad's boss?" Lily asked one afternoon. Sophia laughed. "Yes." Lily grinned mischievously. "You should give him a vacation." Daniel chuckled nervously. But Sophia looked thoughtful. "Actually, that's not a bad idea." She arranged flexible work hours so Daniel could focus on Lily's treatment. Months passed. Slowly, Lily's health improved. On the day she was finally cleared by the doctors, Daniel sat beside Sophia outside the hospital. "You didn't have to do all of this," he said quietly. Sophia smiled. "Maybe not." She paused. "But that night in the waiting room, you helped me when you didn't even know why." Daniel shrugged. "It seemed like the right thing to do." Sophia looked at him thoughtfully. "Funny how life works." Daniel tilted his head. "What do you mean?" Sophia smiled gently. "The night I asked you to pretend to be my husband. I never expected to meet someone who would remind me what real strength looks like." Lily suddenly ran out of the hospital doors laughing. "I'm healthy," she shouted. Daniel hugged her tightly. Sophia watched them quietly, realizing something surprising. Success had never made her feel the way this simple moment did. And sometimes the most important relationships begin with the most unexpected words. "Pretend you're my husband."